Hey there, beautiful beings, it's Charu here, and feeling that very strong impetus from somewhere beyond my conscious mind to come here and share a little of what's moving here right now, and what that might actually be communicating to you. So this morning, super early, around 3:30, I woke up, and was that feeling in the body that could potentially go towards anxiety or fear or uncertainty. It's not that it has to, but that's a potential, right? But when I just really listened, and I was like, I don't know why I'm awake at 3:33, and it's not my business. My only business is to listen, because something wants to get my attention to wake me up at 3:33. And so I listened, and what I found was that it was that really fiery, authentic voice inside that was just basically saying it's time to burn this human down. We're done with her. It's enough. It's enough. Enough pretending to be something that I'm not. Enough pretending to be less, to not have power, to not have strength, to not have the clarity that has been gifted. And the human in me is yes, we should keep a lid on this, don't rock the boat. That's the learned behavior. And even this force to make a video is that same force of declaration, of I could have laid there and let that energy that was coursing through my body turn in on itself in an old habitual cycle, and assume that because that energy was there and because that energy was happening inside my body, that it must mean something about me is wrong. That's the conditioning, right? That's what a lot of us, at least if you're in my collective, we could say, that's the conditioning we're living under. So, really on a deep level, what would it take for you today to meet that energy inside you? Just like that, just like the dogs do, to meet that energy inside you and not say no to it, and not push it away or assume that you know what it means, but actually dive in and give it a true voice. So when I did that this morning, when I actually allowed that energy that was coursing inside of me to speak, it was like a fire. It is still like a fire. And it's that fire of truth that is fueled by so much love. Even to say the word brings tears, because this is not a fire that comes from violence. This is not a fire that comes from hatred or cruelty, even when it appears to have violence in it. This is this is the energy that is alive and vibrant, and it expresses in each one of us in a totally unique way. So your fire might look totally different from my fire, but is it working for you to squash that energy? Is it working for you to contain that energy, or make it wrong, or turn against it, or prevent it from flowing out into the world because you don't know the impact it's going to have? And in that journey of really meeting this power here that wants to express because because of the suffering that I see, because of where I see people struggling and lost, and where I see the unfortunate capacity for that lostness to be taken advantage of by people who maybe really think that they know what they're talking about, but haven't anchored in their own truth and power. So they're just leading others astray down another path of, play the game and be a human and do it the right way, instead of returning you to the power that you are, and giving it full freedom, and let it burn the house down if it needs to, because it's like the phoenix and the ashes. We don't know what will come. We're so afraid of the fire. We're so afraid of the burning down. But that fear, I think, only really comes when there's not a groundedness in the love behind the fire. If it's just a fire for fire's sake, a fire because you're angry, let's be clear, I'm not talking about that. If it's just a fire because you don't feel like it, or because it's not working for you, that's a different kind of a fire. This fire is a fire that burns from the very depths of our being. It's that raw power of a baby's first cry when it's hungry. It is just raw power, uncontained, uncontrolled, just fully allowed. And there's such a freedom in it. There's such a liberation in it. And it's fascinating to watch this dance between the one who is so conditioned. My spiritual name means one whose nature is beautiful and likable, and that is exactly the conditioning. Be a good girl, be nice, and yet that quality of love, which is truly beautiful and likable, isn't always likable. It's really real, but it's not always comfortable. So I watch that fight, that dance between these two sides, between the one who thinks that she has to be good and nice and well behaved and polite, and the one who simply loves, the one who loves so much, who loves so vibrantly and so forcefully and so powerfully that being nice is no longer an option. Being true to that love is an option, but being nice is not. So I share this because two reasons that are totally not two reasons. But one, because if this is something that you need to hear, if you notice that you collapse in with the anxiety, with the assumption that that energy moving in your body is wrong, then I offer this message as an invitation to get into dialogue with that energy without naming it as anxiety or as that there's something wrong with you, and get curious. Get really, really curious about what that energy might be if it's not that. And I also share it here as a jumping into the fire myself, as an offering of myself, because otherwise, if it goes unnamed, then if the fear wins later, I have no one to hold me accountable. But once it's spoken in language, once I've given my word to living this love and being this force of love in your world, if you're in my community, if you want it, then now there's a door for me to walk through in our connections. Without it, there's the assumption that it's just still the same old Charu, and she may not be as likable as you're used to her being. But you may find underneath the slightly more fiery exterior that the power of love and transformation that's available now is so much stronger, because I'm not afraid, because that fear of what you're going to think of me is no longer big enough to stop this river of love from cascading. So yes, where is your river of love? Where is it? Are you speaking to it? Is it whispering to you? Are you listening? Are you finding the way to answer its call? Or are you sneaking back the way you came because you didn't mean to wake the dragon? Just tell the truth, because this love dragon inside of you is majestic, and she may not be a dragon inside of you. He may not be a dragon inside of you. It may be it may come in a totally different form. But the force, the capacity is non-negotiable. So I send you so much love, and if this resonates with you, I would love to hear either in a comment, or obviously you can just send it to me personally. It really feels that force here is demanding a voice, because there are beings who need to hear this, and I want to honour that. I really want to be willing to speak these words in the possibility that they can lend credence perhaps to what is moving in you. I would love to turn the camera around. I don't even know if it's possible on here. I don't think it is. Oh yeah, maybe it is. And I can just show you very briefly the incredible, beautiful dawn here in Guatemala. There is Lake Atitlan, and the sun is coming up just behind that hill over there. It's magic. You can probably hear the bird song, and that's the beauty I want to share with you today. I send you so much love. Oh, you can't see me saying that, but I send you so much love, and I'm sure I'll be back again soon. Namaste.